Welcome everybody to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here at the Paper Tiger to welcome for the first time master theatrical rocker, the man WEDNESDAY13 is here on Rob's MetalWorks. Finally, welcome sir to our program. Great to have you.
Hello. It is hot here in Texas.
Yes. Woo.
Yes. Woo. Hot.
Wednesday, there's a lot to talk about, but before we get into condolences, one of the things that I recently learned about you is really just the long career that you've had. I mean, you started in your music career in 1992. We're here in 2017, and it finally seems that really you're at a pinnacle now in your career after all the years of hard work. How does it kind of feel? How do you feel about what's happening career-wise for you as an artist?
For me, it's just it's come full circle now. It really has. This has been this new record and where we are right now. It's this is 12, 13 years since I started WEDNESDAY13, the solo thing. Murder Dolls turns 15 years this year, and when we came off the road, we went on hiatus, and I started the WEDNESDAY13, started writing the process, and we did our first shows in 2004. But like I said, I've been playing since I was 15 years old. I'll be 41 in August. And so it's been a really long road, and it's really just been learning the whole way. So anybody that says they got this shit figured out in the music business, they're a fucking liar. Because I sure as hell didn't. And it's just honestly, in just the past couple of years, with this lineup I have now and everything, I am so confident at what I do and what our band does, and we're just a well-oiled machine at this point. And I think we're doing something that a lot of bands don't do anymore. First off, we don't fake it. We don't fake our vocals and fake guitar tracks and shit like that. We put on a show, and it's inspired by what I grew up on with Alice Cooper and Kiss and Wasp and Twisted Sister. It's a theatrical, energetic rock and roll show, and I don't think anyone is really doing what we do today. So I feel good to feel like we're doing something that's unique and carrying on in the tradition of my heroes. So.
Let's talk about that, because actually that was going to be my next question. Obviously, you are kind of like the next gen of the successful generation of theatrical rockers, people who are putting on a rock show, a theatrical show, and a lot of visuals. And what did you always, at the beginning of your career, did you always want to do that? Was this something you always wanted to pursue? And what about that appeals to you?
Man, it's crazy. When I first started out, I didn't want to be a front guy at all. I was the guitar player in a band, and so I joined my first band as a guitar player, and then we could never find a vocalist. We had a vocalist, he'd quit. Vocalist would quit. I remember one day I just grabbed the mic and went, "I've got this new song, let's check it out." And they went, "You gonna sing?" I went, "I want to try." And I sang, and all the guys in my band were like, "Whoa, dude, you sound like a little Bon Scott or something." And I was like, "Well, cool, all right." So just started working on it, but I never set out, even being a solo artist, I never wanted to be WEDNESDAY13 or anything like that, because I always liked the band kind of vibe. But over the years, and when I did my Frankenstein drag queen bands, and I had so many member changes, and I remember when I was putting this together, I'm like, I decided, should I call it WEDNESDAY13 or should I call it a band name? And I remember that thinking about it, and I went, man, if I call it WEDNESDAY13, it's always be WEDNESDAY13. If this guy leaves, this guy leaves. If I call it whatever, funeral buddies or whatever, I don't know. If this guy leaves in 2 weeks, then it's not the same band. So I just went, you know what? I'll call it WEDNESDAY13, and here we are. Here I am. So that's kind of how it's came. But no, I mean, it's great to see that we've came full circle, and this is the biggest year that I feel like I've ever had as WEDNESDAY13.
Smart move, man. Smart move. And obviously we've seen things progress for WEDNESDAY13, and I think in the beginnings, we were talking earlier, my crew and I, about the sound that you cultivated, and people call it horror punk or whatever. But now it seems like the evolution of the band continues even at this stage in your career. Now with the release of Condolences, really what I feel is a heavy record, the heaviest record you've ever done. Talk a little bit about the new kind of WEDNESDAY13 and where you are. Where do you feel you're at now?
Well, I think where we ended up with this record, it really kind of started a couple years ago when we did the last Monsters of the Universe record. That was when the band really kind of shifted into the metal direction, yeah. And that's a big part of having Ramon and Jack and our drummer Kyle. So it's just definitely but when it came time to start writing for this record, we knew it was going to be heavy just because that's where our brains are. We're listening to all this heavy, or at least I am listening to all this heavy music and stuff. And I was a little glam rock punk kid. Now I'm like listening to Testament every day. So I've incorporated that into what we do now. And but yeah, it was just it started taking that direction with Monsters, and then when it came time to start writing, we didn't go in honestly and we like, hey guys, let's write the heaviest thing. We literally just woke up every day. We took June off last year. And we had 3 weeks, and every day we'd wake up, eat Fruit Loops, and pick up our guitars, and we would spend 9-10 hours working on one song a day. One song a day. That was our goal, to wake up every day and write one good song a day. And every day we'd wake up, we wouldn't have good days. Someday we wouldn't come up with shit. The next day we'd write 2 in one day. So it was just, but we spent 3 weweeks really crafting, and we weren't going to take filler songs. It was like no bullshit songs. Every song's got to be as good as the next. So and that was the whole goal. We just went in and it just happened to turn out to be really, really heavy. And but it was a natural thing. It wasn't like a thought out, because that's the worst thing, is to go in and go, we're going to do this and this. We just go in and do what you do and let it shape itself. And that's kind of what this record did. It just kind of shaped itself. We just what we brought to the table, and then we had a producer, Zeus, as well, which is another big component into it as well. So a
metal producer, Zeus.
Oh, dude, he's did everything from Hatebreed to Queensryche. He's just he's such a good dude, and it was great to finally give the reins to someone instead of me being the be all end all producer guy, because I'm not a producer, so to speak. I know when I like my stuff and when it sounds good, but it was really great because I'm also a perfectionist. Like, I feel like if I would have produced that record, it wouldn't be done right now. I'd be going, no, it's not good enough, do this. Zeus was the guy that went, that's good enough, don't overdo it, don't do this. And it actually was the first record where I didn't do as much shit as I normally do. Like I would double vocals and stuff, and we cut all the small stuff out, and in the end of the day, when I heard the playback and heard the mix, I was like, holy shit.
Sometimes less is more.
Absolutely. But it sounds bigger, even though we did less, if that makes sense, So, but yeah, just having someone like Zeus to have that outside ear. Like, I remember he came in and heard our demos, because we basically, like I said, we did a song a day. We had all these songs on a demo form, and we played them for Zeus, and he came in, and it was first time he went, that's awesome. That's the Botox pile. We call it the Botox. Needs some work, And I remember, like, the first time going, wow, we thought that song was really good. Like Omen Amen, for example, was one he came in and went, that's the Botox pile. And I remember, I think some of the dudes maybe even got a little frustrated trying to change the stuff around. But within like 2 hours, Ramon came back with that chorus riff, and it just changed the whole song. Now it's almost like a Pantera type kind of riff now. So it was cool to have someone, because you just need that outside ear sometimes. Someone, it's okay to tell somebody that sucks. Don't do that. And that's getting over it. You gotta have thick skin in this business, and someone to tell you suck, it's all right. Okay, I don't want to suck. Make me better. So that was a cool thing, working with a guy like Zeus, because when we did the record, it was like he was in the band with us, and that was a good thing. And he pushed us to the point, and we turned out with, I think, the biggest sounding Wednesday 13 record of my career.
And you did that writing. You were talking about the writing with the band. You did that in Hollywood?
No, we actually, our recording, or our home base is basically Oregon. That's where our drummer Kyle and Ramon live now. And it's just, LA is just so tiny and so expensive. We go to Oregon. We rehearse in an airplane hangar in Oregon. It's gigantic, and we can do our full show there. And here in LA, I have to, pay by the hour, and it just gets expensive. So we basically went to Oregon, spent 3 weeks writing the record in June. Came home in July. I started spending the whole month writing the lyrics. Ramon came back, worked all his guitar parts, and then we spent all of August recording the record. We did the drums in Oregon, and then we flew to Connecticut and spent 3 weeks in Zeus's basement recording. And so yeah, it was literally 3 months of eating, breathing, sleeping this album. So that's why I can feel confident when I say that I put everything I had, and we all did, and that's why I think it sounds the way it does. And when the record was done, next thing was the show has to match the level of this record. So, and tonight you will see what we've done with that, and I think we've succeeded on that too.
Well, I have to tell you on camera, it's a beautiful piece of work. I was really happy when I received the record, and I really had a chance to absorb it. fell in love with all the songs, man. Awesome. Definitely the best work that I've ever heard from the band. And for all you people out there who do not yet have the brand new Wednesday 13 record, it is called Condolences, out on the Nuclear Blast Records label. Be sure to get it on iTunes right now, download it, and rock it. It kicks ass. So let's talk lyrically to me. I mean, obviously, the cover work was pretty cool. The skeleton hand offering the flower, condolences. Talk a little bit about lyrically what the theme is for this record.
The whole theme of the record really is just kind of based around death. And I've kind of always sang about that, but it's always been more in a tongue-in-cheek, kind of funny, Scooby-Doo sort of way, like I like to call it.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but that's also another aspect of this record, too, that you've kind of changed. Is that this is a very serious record for you. It's not tongue-in-cheek.
I've been doing this for so long, been doing a lot of the, for me, it's just at this point where, how many more zombie songs can I write? How many more songs can I write with the word fuck in it, which I probably can. But, I just wanted to do something different. And the artwork, everything like that. But the very first song that I wrote for this record was Condolences. And I remember it was right after Bowie passed away. And I just, that just hurt me so bad. I was just like one of the first artists that passed away that it just really like bothered me. And because Ziggy Stardust, that album is one of my favorite albums. I mean, named my daughter Zoe Starr, basically after Ziggy Stardust. And so I just kept seeing, and again, it wasn't just Bowie. It was like before that. It just seemed like every actor or musician was dropping. And then it was Prince, and then it was Lemmy, and it was just like I just kept seeing condolences on the word, and I just realized just how powerful that word is. Because when you hear it, it's not a good thing. Condolences, it's like what the fuck is that? That's just, it means sadness. It's dark. And it was such a cool title, and compared to all my other titles, which I usually play on words, like Calling All Corpses or Fang Bang, it's just kind of funny. And I thought, almost like Skeletons didn't give it away. You kind of went, well, it's a little different this time. And up to this record, that was my serious record. Yeah. And now this makes that look campy now. But that really is just, it really wasn't like I said, going in the studio, we're going to be serious this time. It's like, I'm 40 years old now. I've seen the world, things change, and I like to sometimes sing about personal things too. And I put it, so the whole thing on my mind was death, and when I wrote that song, that just kind of took the shape, and I went, all right, well, I'm going to start writing the rest of the lyrics. And I really just started reading a bunch of true crime books and like serial killer things, and I'm a horror movie fan. Like I love that stuff, but over the years, it's just like, I remember watching Freddy Krueger and Jason when it was still brand new, before it was a household name, and Freddy was funny, like he was scary, and so it's just like that was. But now horror movies just don't move me that way anymore. So I'm like, if I want to really get shocked and read something, I watch that TV show Forensic Files, and that's why the album cover the inside has all the little autopsy shots. I'm obsessed with that TV show. So it's just really, and reading serial killer stories, it was just like, man, this is some of the most horrifying, gruesome, awful, what could make the human mind go to that point. And I'm like, I want to write about this. It's disturbing and weird, and not anything personal for me on that. But yeah, so a lot of the songs had that theme. But Condolences of Death Infinity was really, it's about my death and the journey into the afterlife or after death or whatever you want to call it. And so that was the two kind of personal songs at the end. But the rest of the record's all just based in true crime and things like that.
So at your age, do you think about your own mortality? And about your art kind of continuing to live on after your passing?
That's why I'm really fortunate to play music and do what I do, because it almost seems like, once everything's said and done, what's going to survive? Statues and music, and music lives on. And it's the coolest job in the world to know that I can do what I do, and I meet people every night. They'll come up to me and say, hey, if it wasn't for your music, I wouldn't be here. You got me through this. And when I first started hearing that stuff, I was like, Mike, Rambo got you through this? Or I'd love to say fuck, but it doesn't matter. It's just we are a support outlet, support group for the black sheep of the family. I was the weirdo kid in my family, and when I discovered Alice Cooper and Marilyn Manson and all these kind of bands, and I went to their shows, I was united with people like that. And I feel like I bring that same thing. We're Halloween 24/7 traveling, and we unite the weirdos. So I'm glad to be the ringleader of the freaks sometimes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The band has been touring already in support of Condolences. The record dropped on June 2nd, so it hasn't been very long, but you've been out there working it hard. Correct me if I'm wrong, did you just come back from across the pond doing shows up in Europe and the UK? And I know, I mean, that Wednesday 13 is very highly respected name out in the UK and Europe. I would say a little bit more than the US. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. The UK's really been our home. I mean, they accepted Murder Dolls in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And that was just like when that first album came out, man, it was the closest thing I've ever felt like being in the Beatles. Like it was, I mean, we had every little girl that loved us. We were like a little teeny bopper kind of band, and all the guys were shaving their heads and eyebrows. And I remember being at a Tower Records in London we had this in-store, and 2,000 kids showed up and only 400 got in, and we were playing our show and later on across town that night, and we left in a van out the back, and all those kids chased us in the street, stopped traffic, and almost flipped our van over. And it was just like, it was insane. And so that's kind of why the UK has always been a good place for us. It's nowhere as big for that like that now, but you know, but I can always go to the UK and know I have a good show. And we just came back from Europe, did a few shows in Germany, but we did the Download Festival, which used to be called Monsters of Rock, which I watched as a little kid, and we just headlined one of the side stages there. Our tent was completely packed out, and it was awesome. We had fire-breathing hot chicks there. It was amazing. So it was a good thing, and we basically flew straight back from there and started this tour in Salt Lake City on the 16th. So it's just been, I don't even know what day it is. It's just been it's been yeah. And then plus before the tour, we did 4 videos flying the guys back and forth. We don't all live in the same place, so it was literally a lot of work's been going on. We signed the deal January 26th, and it's just been non-stop, you know, so it doesn't stop for another month.
So, you know, you're doing this headline run. Kind of what's the reception been like from American audiences now that they're hearing these tracks live? It's
great. Every night, you know, again, for a band that tours as much as us, to get on stage and play 4 or 5 new songs, it's just like, it's a breath of life for us. Because, you know, again, like I love playing the old songs, but I've been playing Bad Things for 12 years, you know. I love playing it live, but I don't necessarily like to rehearse it. But when we can play some of these new songs, but when we've been playing the new songs and the people are already singing along, throwing their fists, it's like are already instant classics. So the reaction's been great, and like I said, we've put so much into our live show now. Like it is a full-on theatric. It is just, you know, I've ripped Alice Cooper off so good on this. It's you know, it literally, it's like a little mini Alice Cooper show to me in my mind, you know.
I have to ask you, as a fan, one of my favorite tracks is the title track, and it's a long song. Do you guys play that one live?
Oh yeah, you'll see.
Okay, good.
Tonight you'll see we play that. We basically recreate the video live almost, and it's a really, to me that's my favorite part of the show, my favorite song to play of the show, because it has such a atmosphere to it. I feel like we recreate that sound on the album and the video. So yeah, and it's almost a 7-minute song. It's like that's our Iron Maiden Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner song. So.
Love it. So what does the rest of 2017 hold for the band right now? You know, we're you know, midway through the summer. What do you have planned for the fall?
Oh, lots of stuff. This tour ends on the 23rd of July. We have August off. We start rehearsals in September, and I believe our East Coast run is going to begin September 14th. We'll be announcing that pretty soon. That goes from September 14th to October 22nd or 3rd in the States, East Coast, Canada. Mm-hmm. And then we fly to England, and our tour begins in the UK on October 26th. And then we go into Europe, Halloween night in Paris, and that's 3 weeks. So we're basically touring until November 18th. So I'll be home December and August of this year. So.
Nice, man. Safe travels on the road. I know that all your hard work is going to pay off, especially supporting such a great piece of work. You guys did a couple of videos. You did, the initial one was for What the Night Brings, and then the new one that just dropped was Condolences. Those videos really cool, visual. They don't look like they were like cheap videos to make. They look pretty pricey.
They weren't. And you know, someone online that's on YouTube, I read comments and stuff because I want to know what people think about stuff. I put a lot of work in this, and I remember some comment, somebody was like, they filmed all these videos in one day on one budget, and I'm like, fuck you. You have no idea how much hard work that was. That was 4 different videos. None of the band lived. Only 2 people live in Los Angeles. We filmed everything in Los Angeles. Had to fly everyone in. The budget, cameras, location. I mean, those videos were a lot of money. a lot of money to get done, and I put a lot of work. Especially Condolences that was my baby. That was the one that had to be perfect. And that video, our awesome director Matt Zane, who killed it on that video. It was the only video I've done in my entire.
Matt Zane from Society One.
Yes. Yeah. Matt did What the Night Brings, Bloodsick, and Condolences, and Tommy Jones did Cruel to You. Yeah. And but Matt, I mean, I love all the videos we did, but Matt really killed it on Condolences. That was the best one for me, and it's the only video in my career that I've ever gave a director an idea. I want to do this. I want this visual, and you get that first edit back. And when I saw it, I got goosebumps. I didn't even. There was only one thing we changed in that video, and that was our bass player. It was in one scene. he fell down, and then we didn't realize. We watched the playback. He's just like some kind of shaky camera thing, but he's actually really falling over. So that's the only thing we edited out of the video was our bass player falling through the drum set. And but no, it's like it was the first video that came back, first edit, and it's exactly what I had in my head. Exactly what I had in my head. So so he killed it, and we're not done with making videos. We're still going to do a few more for the end of the year, and that was one thing we said about the label. We were really going to make this band more visual to the public, and the way to do that is by videos, because our live show it's a full-on theatrical production now, and so why not do that with videos? So, and now I've really got into it. The first video was kind of weird for me because I haven't done videos in so long, but now it's just like I got an idea going, oh cool, I'm gonna do this. Next video is gonna have scarecrows and all kind of stuff in it. So so yeah, my imagination is to 10 right now. So yeah, so you'll be sick of us pretty soon because I ain't gonna stop.
Because of the type of musician and artist that you are, is it safe to assume that you like doing videos? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of work behind you. Did you enjoy it?
I didn't at first, and I don't think I still really enjoy it. But I've gotten into it a little bit more. The What the Night Brings video, like I said, my first video I've done in a while. So that just the first day, we weren't using basically lip syncing to a song, which is just weird for me anyway. And the whole thing was, I remember we were like, all right, well, you're not going to use a microphone on this. And I went, what the fuck am I going to sing to? So I just had that cane. So I'm rocking that cane in that first video like it's my crutch. And but after that first video, by the end of the day, because I was like a 12-hour shoot, by the end of that day, I didn't care. I could lip sync, do the whole. I had my comp, but the first couple hours, it is kind of weird because you're going, all right, 3, 2, 1, go, and you're lip syncing, and all your friends and bands sitting around watching you lip sync, and it's just like, this is so weird. So once you get past the mental thing of that, for me, I can get into it. But Condolences, that was the most fun video that we did because it had so many cool little parts to it, and it was eerie too, watching my band be pallbearers for me, watching my friends go put flowers on a casket. It was just like, this is kind of creeped me out, being honest with you a little bit, but the end product, it looked great.
It does. And as we talk about video, do you anticipate on this run, in support of Condolences, recording any live shows or recording video of performances this year?
Yeah, I'd love to. I know we just got a bunch of footage from the Download Festival that we did, and we filmed our whiskey show the other night, and so hopefully into this year, if the label's into it and would like to do that, I would love to put a live concert out and then have the DVD contain all of our videos. Who knows, by the end of the year we could have 7, 8 videos by the time it's all said and done. So to have that accompanied with a live show would be something cool. So I think that's something that we could possibly pull off. So fingers crossed, we'll make that happen.
Just a couple of more questions, Wednesday, before we end out. We've kind of alluded to the label Nuclear Blast, which I feel is the premier metal label. The premier metal label in this country. Obviously, their roots are in Europe, and now they've come to the Americas and done really well. Obviously, they're putting forth great support behind Wednesday 13 with the video budgets and also with what you're able to offer the fans. I saw the video where you opened the vinyl for Condolences. That was cool. They're doing stuff like that. Talk a little bit about your relationship with Nuclear Blast.
They're the best label I've ever been on in my career, and I don't know how many labels I've been on at this point. It's been a lot, and but the great thing about Nuclear Blast for me right now, or when I first did the deal with them, a lot of the people that worked for Nuclear Blast was my team with Roadrunner with Murder Dolls. Mm-hmm. So I had a history with them, and so Monty Connor was the guy that signed us. Monty is the genius who signed Slipknot, Fear Factory, everybody that you can think of. He's the best, and this is our fourth record together, and so to go back with those guys and have a team behind me and they believe in it, and we just work hard. A lot of bands, they spend their whole lives waiting to get signed. And they're so hungry and they're working for it, and they get signed and they get lazy. And they go, oh, well, we're signed. Do it for us. And I told Monty, I was like, we ain't going to do that. We're going to do exactly what we've always done. We just need a team behind us to get our record. I don't know how to do the record side of it. I know how to do my shows. I can tour DIY. I can do everything myself. I can't get my records into stores and in people's hands the way you can. So having that team behind us and us doing what we normally do, it's just a force, and that's why it looks, because we're still doing what we always did, and they're doing what they do, and they're awesome at it. I mean, it's just and every time I offer ideas, they're up for it, and they're just really, really supportive. And I honestly, I couldn't be happier right now. Like, it's almost like everything's been going so good, I feel like I'm on an episode of Punk'd. I'm like, Ashton, I'm being punked. You know, it's just, yeah, everything's just, it's so cool. So it's just,
the stars have aligned for you.
Yeah, man, it's finally, and it's, you know, and it's just, but again, even though things are going good, I just want to do more. Now I'm just thinking, we got to top Condolences. We got to top that. I'm never satisfied with it. You know, I feel like I'm still climbing the ladder. I'm on the ladder. I'm not to the top of it, but I'm on the fucking ladder.
And people, your fans know that you're a pretty versatile artist. You did the Bourbon Crow kind of country thingy, and we know about your history with Murder Dolls. Are some of those kind of other musical outlets something that still interests you now, or because of where you're at with the Wednesday 13, just your focus is just on Wednesday 13?
My main priority is Wednesday 13, and it will always be my priority. But the side project, like I just did first of the year, we did some Bourbon Crow shows, acoustic, and that was awesome because it's another side of me that I get to do. And I think that's what's been the most healthy thing for me musically over the years, is stop being a fucking music snob. That's what I used to be. I mean, up till like 2002, it was glam rock and punk rock, and I didn't want to, I just was a music snob. And once I started opening my ears and listening to everything from southern rock to blues to, I always listened to different stuff. I love James Brown, so I always did like some different stuff. But when I just really started listening to everything and incorporated that into my sound, it's just changed who I am and how I write music. So now when I hear our songs, I can hear all these different influences. And that never could have happened before. That's why some of my older records sound the way they do. It's just because I didn't really know much more than that. And now I know all these other sides. So now you're still hearing the old Wednesday 13 stuff there, but you're also hearing what we listen to now.
How much of that is due just to just straight maturity as a human being?
I just think it's just growing up. You can't do this business and travel and meet people around the world without it changing you a little bit. I go back home, people go, "You changed." I go, "You fucking right, I changed. I changed a lot." And that's not a bad thing, but it's just what happens if you don't change and grow with your surroundings. And what the fuck are you doing? That's I love the band Gojira, and I want to say their front guy used some explanation. He goes, we're a tree. We're a tree that's always growing. At first we were this, but now we're expanding. We're getting taller. We're growing more branches, and that's what a band does, and that's what I like in a band. I'm not saying that's for everybody. Like, I don't, a band like AC/DC, I don't need AC/DC to change. That's some bands it doesn't work for. For me, I like to be that tree that's growing, and we're always experimenting, and there's no rules of what we do. We can do whatever we want, and I think that's the freedom. It's the best freedom ever with this band.
Lastly, Wednesday, I have to ask you, the Murder Dolls kind of demise in 2010. We know that Joey's busy with his band Vimic. Yeah. Would you ever entertain a reunion with Joey and the Murder Dolls, or maybe one-off shows? Is that something that interests you?
Absolutely. I guess I've been saying this for years. People ask, well, what's the deal with Murder Dolls? And I say the same thing, not trying to bullshit anybody. I haven't spoke to Joey since 2011. Our last show was the last time we talked. But I know that people have been talking in between the scenes over the past 6 months, and he seems to be interested in doing that again. And for me, for the fans, no one really got to see that band. We did 2 albums, I think awesome albums, especially that last record I really, really love. Next to this, Condolences, Women and Children Last is one of my other things I'm most proud of. And we didn't really get a whole lot of time to work that record. Unfortunately, Paul Gray passed away as soon as the record was coming out. And it was a weird time, especially for Joey. I can't even imagine. I know what he went through, and I know it was a hard time for him. And it just really kind of kind of sunk us down with Murder Dolls, unfortunately. And then after that, he went back to Slipknot, and I started doing my thing, and here we are. But I know that he's been interested in doing it. I've been saying I'm interested in doing it, and if the fans want it, then we should do it. I don't know if it'll be a full-time thing, but why not? Why not go try a summer festival and do a couple weeks of shows and go out and have fun? Because the whole reason of doing Murder Dolls is to have fun. And so if we can have fun and do that again, I would love to do it, and I wish that guy the best. And like I said, he put me on the map. People wouldn't know who I was for the most part if he wouldn't have discovered me and brought me into Murder Dolls. So that band is still really big in my heart, and if we could ever do shows again, that'd be awesome.
Great piece of humility there. Thank you for that, Wednesday. Any last words for the fans around the world who we see this interview?
Just thank you for all the years of support, and hope you enjoy the new record, and we're giving you guys the best concert show I think I've ever done, so we'll see you when we see you, and be there.
Wednesday, you talked about all your hard work and that you want to continue to do hard work. Everything that you've given us in this interview is a testament to that, so thank you so much for being so sharing in this interview. I appreciate that, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
We hope to interview you again in the future.
Please do. I can talk a lot.
That's what we love. Remember, everyone out there, how can you forget? The brand new one from WEDNESDAY13 is called Condolences. Be sure to look for it. You saw the man only on Rob's MetalWorks.